Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Hit the Cut, the only baseball-only podcast on the 620 WDAE iHeartRadio app. Jay Recher, Paul Russo here with you with a very special guest. I feel like we're among royalty today, Paul Russo. We got the great Pop Cuesta, legendary high school coach, Jefferson High School, joining us today. Pop, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Now, you guys know each other pretty well.
Long time.
Pop, let's talk a little bit about how you got into coaching. How did that come about? How did you decide to join the coaching ranks?
Well, like most kids growing up, my dream was to be a major league ball player. But that happens very few times. Percentages are way against you. So the next best thing would be to work with kids, get into coaching, which I did that when I was working my way to the University of Tampa, the recreation department, so in the boys clubs of Tampa. And it got to be a lot of fun. Went on to West Tampa Little League, and then from there, eventually into the high school ranks.
So you've been at Jefferson High, you were at Jefferson High School for how many years?
43.
43 years. Longer than I've been alive, man.
A little bit shorter than I've been alive, but still a long time.
Long time. So Pop, going into the ranks, you know, obviously getting into Jefferson, was Jefferson as prominent when you first started as it was now?
Well, when we first started, we had to compete with Tampa Catholic.
That was the big competition?
Yes, most of the kids that won state championships there should have been going to Jefferson,
Wow.
but they were established, and they were allowed to play 30-plus games, and Wayne Williamson came in and cut us down to 16.
Wow.
So if you're a pitcher, you know, you're not going to get many starts in a 16-game schedule, so a lot of them decided to go to TC. They had it going, they were winning state championships, and getting to play a lot of baseball, so a lot of the kids went there. Slowly, we started getting one and two, and then another, and then we played them one year, and with Big Ronnie Martinez on the mound, we beat them at their place 2-0.
Wow. Those are the games you never forget.
Oh no, that place was, they were 8 deep standing all the way around.
Wow. What year was that?
That was 1975.
Wow. Wasn't even a twinkle in my daddy's eye yet.
I was 5.
You were 5.
Almost, well, 6. I
Now,
was 6.
talk about, obviously, you know, we all know about a lot of the major leaguers that have, you know, gone through the system with the Fred McGriffs and the Tino Martinez. And was that your best team in '85 with a bunch of those guys?
85 was a good team. 81 was a good team. The 91, 92 teams were good.
Who was your best team? If you had to put a stamp on it, who was the best team that you coached?
Well, you know, there were several teams that were pretty good. You say 85 because they got to the state, but there were 6 others that got to the regional finals, and we had to face a guy that was drafted in the 2nd round at Winter Haven, and then we had to face a guy at Jesuit 2 years in a row. We go all the way back to the regional finals. It was tough. It were tough games. We lost 6-5. We lost 4-3.
Close games, man.
Close games. We battled them, but there were several teams. The 88 team was a good club too.
So a lot of it seems like you've done such a great job influencing the kids in the Tampa community, not just on the field but off the field. I've heard nothing but great admiration for you. I've coached with my buddy Lou Estevez, who now his son's at Jefferson.
Yep.
So you know, how weird is that to see generations of kids where you've coached the dad and then the son comes along and you coach with them as well?
Well, it was interesting. That holds true also as far as students.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching driver ed for 38 years, people would come in the first day and I'd look at a girl or a guy and I'd say,
You would know, right?
I know your mom, I know your dad.
So,
And
you can't change the face.
no, we've had, if you go back into the 40s, we've had Angel Lopez, Dennis Lopez Jr. You know, we've had a lot of people that have father, son.
That's great.
Am I right?
And now grandkids.
No,
Now
great.
grandkids.
Now, Paul, you went to Jefferson for your senior year, was it?
Half a senior year.
Half a senior year, because you were
Yeah.
a Robinson guy,
Right.
and then went to Jefferson. So take us through your transition from going to Robinson to Jefferson, then take us to, you know, what Pop's role had in that, of coming to Jefferson, and then how your season went.
Well, you know, Pop really didn't have a role in me coming to Jefferson because it would be considered recruiting.
Yeah.
So there was
There
really
you go.
no, there was
Pop
really,
knew to keep his hands
right,
off.
there was really no role. The main reason that I was going to Jefferson was because Sammy Militello.
Your best friend and
right.
former major leaguer and
Exactly.
pitching coach over at UT now.
And, you know, I had, originally when I went to elementary school, my mother taught at McFarland Park Elementary. So I was used to being around all those guys from West Tampa. And of course, being the same age, we went our separate ways after Cuesta Junior High School,
Cuesta.
or Cuesta Middle School.
Oh.
Cuesta Middle School.
Was that named after your family?
That was named after a Cuesta that donated the land.
Oh,
It
okay.
was related to my dad, I think cousins.
There you go, man.
So
The
when-
Cuesta name goes way
Right,
back.
so I
in
went
Tampa.
there for, you know, for 6th grade, and then where I lived we were bused to Madison Junior High School. So I didn't lose touch with everybody because, of course, back then, playing Little League, you still played against each other, still remained friends.
But you didn't have cell phones or
Oh, of
Facebook
course
or
not,
anything
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, you had a phone on the wall, that was it.
Yeah, the, old,
Yeah.
the rotary
phone, that's
too.
it.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
remember
we
those
had.
days.
So, you know, I went to Robinson, my dad was a dean there, that's the reason I went there. So I had 3 really successful seasons at football there, and did very well at baseball. Started every game from my sophomore year and junior year. And then the coach at Robinson was gonna leave, Coach Dave Best. And I liked Coach Best a lot. I learned a lot from him, but when we found out he was going to leave, my dad sat down with me and said, hey, listen, I think this would be the best option for you. He's the best known coach in Hillsborough County. They're gonna have a good team. So, you know, we made the transition. First day of school in January, I was at Jefferson and, you know, ended up having a hell of a year there and broke a lot of records. But
in the 500 club?
in the
Which
500 club,
We'll post a picture
Yeah.
on the Hit the Cut Facebook page. I took a picture when I was at Jefferson
yeah,
a couple weeks ago for
yeah.
Saladino.
So, ended up breaking some other records, but, you know, I was able to reconnect with, you know, a lot of good friends growing up, and it was a great year. It was a great year.
How'd you guys do that season?
We lost in district to Gaither, as a matter of fact, but, I mean, we had a good year. Sammy Militello threw 3 consecutive no-hitters.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it
Is that
was-
still? I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's
the kid
national.
at Mitchell a couple years ago had
Right.
a bunch, but I've
Yeah.
heard this.
He threw 3 consecutive no-hitters. I won the Triple Crown in the state for, you know, and we had a good year. I mean, and we played, we all played as friends. You know, we had a lot of guys that we grew up with, and it was a great experience for me. I loved it. I would do it over and over again.
I always feel like, you know, coaching a team that really plays like a family and plays like brothers, they're a dangerous team because they're never out of it. You
No,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
There's games where, you know, they could be down by a lot, or, you know, there's games where it could be tight, and when it's like a band of brothers. Those teams often perform a lot better than guys, you
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
maybe
Absolutely.
more talented. You know, you may have one side with a lot of talent, but you got guys that maybe a little less talented, but they're never giving up. They're playing with a lot of grit. They're
Right.
playing the game the right way. Guys like that, you know, they always have a shot.
Well, I tell you what, after our first practice at Jefferson, you know, we really became a family because after the first day, I think everybody hated me.
Oh, yeah?
One of Pop's things was no cussing on the field.
Oh,
Well,
gosh.
you know, for me, and not being aware of the rule, Pop used to carry a pitch counter in his pocket. So, of course, I was catching, he was at home plate, so for every cuss word I said, he click it.
Oh, jeez.
So, at the end of practice, we ran 76 sprints
Oh my God.
because of me. And, you know, I apologize to the team, but we ran 76 sprints as a team. And, you know, it was a bonding experience, to say the least.
To say the
Yeah,
least.
to say the least. But, I mean, you know, right then and there, you knew guys had your back because of that, you know.
And when you know, as good of a player as you were, for a coach to hold you accountable, that
Oh,
goes
yeah.
a long way with the team, that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not getting any special treatment. Being the new guy, being the big bat. Pop, another thing that I've heard from some of my players that play at Jefferson now is the excruciating hell week that they go through. Those kids start running and the conditioning. We've put our kids at Hit Factory through a lot of running and a lot of stuff like that, where kids go, oh, this track practice, or some of the parents are saying, well, the conditioning's the big aspect, and that's pretty much the first thing you do. Is that correct, Pop? To kind of weed the guys out that aren't real serious about it.
We call it Century Week. It's the week before officially we start practice, so we condition for the whole week, and we do it on the track. Bleacher climbs,
Ah,
mile,
It was
2 miles,
miserable.
sprints, you know.
Push-ups, sit-ups, come on, man. Let everybody know. You talk about it like it's nothing.
what's the one they do in the outfield? Ray Rodriguez was telling me about it. This
Dragon fire.
Dragon Fires. Yes, that's the dragon. Now explain to everybody what the Dragon Fires are.
Well, we go to the left field foul line and we start sometimes with jumping jacks, then we sprint to center, we do some sit-ups, then we sprint to right, we do some push-ups, then we come backwards. We're coming
All the way backwards. Run backwards doing the same thing.
yeah, and then that's
It's miserable.
Yeah, I bet.
it works your legs very well.
That's to say the least.
Could work your stomach and your throat muscles too from throwing
Oh
up.
my
So
gosh.
Yes, I think Kevin Skelly, I think he threw up 3 times. First time we did that.
Oh, Skelly, we're gonna get you for this
Yeah.
one, brother.
He still remembers that.
I'm sure he doesn't let you forget. All right, before we move on to our top 10 rankings, we're doing our top 10 Major League shortstops. First off, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at Hit the Cut. You can follow me at Jay Recher. Follow Paul at Cigar Guy Online, as well as Hit Factory Tampa. You can also follow us on Instagram and those names, and Facebook. Pop, do you got any social media, Facebook or anything like that?
Me?
Yes.
Listen, my daughters gave me this phone, and they said you got to get rid of your phone. You got to have this because all your players are on there, ask about you. So they gave me a phone, and they called me. I didn't know how to answer. I didn't know what you had to move to answer, so I didn't.
Just looked at
I
it.
just looked at it and hit different things, and nothing happened. So, well, I can answer now, and I get on Facebook once in a while.
there was a good picture of him yesterday on Facebook with his grandson hitting in the backyard.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. We got a chance to meet your grandson at Wellswood the other day. That was very nice. That's good, man. I'm glad you're up on the times, learning the smartphone.
Still got a long way to
Still got a long way to go. We got to get him a training manual. All right, I got to ask you 2 questions before we start our rankings. 1, who was the best pitcher that you ever coached at Jefferson High School?
We had some good ones. Huh?
Yeah, I know. I got to stick it to you, man.
Well, you got Sammy with 3 consecutive.
You got to pick one. If you had, all right, yeah, all right. You got a state championship final tomorrow. Who do you start on the mound?
Well, you got.
Just because you start him don't mean you got to finish. with
That's
him.
right. That's right.
Well, you got Sammy. You got Skelly. You know, you got Hergen, who's a horse.
Jimmy Hergen.
Yeah.
Yep. Where's he at now?
He's
USF.
USF.
Yeah.
Yep. USF.
And you've got Lenny Fadley threw back-to-back no-hitters.
Yeah.
Ooh.
First round draft pick also.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of them, and then you got Big Ronnie Martinez.
Yeah.
His attitude was, give me the ball. If you hit it 900 feet, it's okay. I get the next guy out. It didn't faze him.
So it sounds like Ronnie Martinez. Would you go Ronnie Martinez?
Ronnie was a horse. You know, he got a call to the big leagues, and he hurt his arm.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
But the problem with Ronnie was, in high school, he was kind of laid back.
Yeah.
We had a foul pole in left field that was bent slightly from him leaning against it. But when he found what he had to do right after he graduated, I mean, he really
Really took off.
took off, and the Phillies wanted to bring him to the big leagues, and then he hurt his arm. He didn't want to have the surgery, and so he just retired. Now, I think recently just retired from the fire department.
Oh, good for him, man.
So it turned out okay, but he was a horse. He's the one that beat TC.
So go Ronnie
And
Martinez.
Jay, I can tell you what, bro. They have had so many great players
Yep.
come out of Jefferson in the last 40 years. I mean, there's just no question. But I can tell you this: I caught both those guys. I caught Sammy and Skelly, and when I tell you there was no better right-handed, left-handed combination
They were on the
anywhere.
same team.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable where Skelly had the nastiest 12-6 hammer you ever saw and could throw hard for a lefty. And you know, not being a big guy, could throw hard. And Sammy to this day, and I'll say it to anybody, had one of the best sliders I ever caught my whole career, including pro ball. And he was just, he was just devastating. He was. And you know, it just, after he threw the first one, it kept building and building and building, and he just, became one hell of a pitcher. There's no question about it.
All right, Pop, last question pertaining to you. You got one guy to send up to the plate, bases loaded, state championship on the line. Who would it be?
Well, there's a lot of them you would send up.
Yeah.
I would. He was tough from the right side, Tino from the left side. You got Lenny, always making contact, good hitter. There's just a bunch of them. It's hard to put one guy. Recher Caldwell, noted for football, but he was a fellow. If he'd have stuck with baseball, he'd have been in the big leagues.
Yeah.
He was tremendous. And I had
Lewis. You had Lewis, you had Fred. I mean,
Lewis Gonzalez, Fred
you just.
there's a bunch of guys.
Yeah,
It's
you had
just
a- you had a
sickening.
slew of guys
Let
up
me
there.
let me tell you this, Jay. I swear to you, at Robinson, our BP would be first round 7 cuts, second round 5 cuts, third round 3 cuts. When I went to Jefferson, I was in heaven. We hit all the time. I was lucky because I was almost all my credits were done when I got to high school, my senior year. So going into Christmas break, so I was in the OJT program, which meant on-the-job training.
Oh, okay.
So-
I thought it was like orange
Yeah,
juice
no,
raker or something like
no.
that.
So my job was at Harry's Gym. So I was done with school at 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I was able to get in the car, go to Harry's Gym, work out, lift weights for an hour and a half. Then I would work around the gym, and I would be back at school at 12 o'clock. And at 12 o'clock, Fred McGriff, Tino, Lenny, all those guys were out there hitting. So I was able to hit with those guys every day at a young age.
Wow.
And
How old
learn.
were they compared to you?
Well, they were in their mid-20s, some in late 20s, or maybe 30, and I was a 17-year-old kid. And I was able to be around those guys every day. Then go to, when they were done hitting, I would hit off the tee, then hit in the cage by myself, and then practice with everybody else at 3:30. So I hit more the first day I was at Jefferson than my 2.5 years at Robinson.
A lot of swings.
Oh,
man.
it was awesome. It was unbelievable, and that was really, going to Jefferson was the best decision I ever made as a high school player, because that really propelled me into becoming a baseball player, because everybody thought I was going to go play football. So that really helped me to become a baseball player.
And then too, you see the guys that were, you're following in the footsteps of guys that are
Absolutely.
perennial all-stars and Hall of Famers.
Absolutely.
And you're going to a program with a gentleman that knows what it takes to get those guys prepared to play at the next level. So it's a great decision by your family. It's definitely a life-changing decision.
Oh no, it definitely was. It was definitely a life-changing decision.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Hit the Cut. Another great list we got going on. Our top 10 shortstops, the great Pop Cuesta here with us today. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Hit the Cut. Follow myself, Jay Recher. You can follow Paul at Cigar Guy Online and Hit Factory Tampa. Follow us on Facebook at Hit the Cut, Jay Recher, Paul Russo. Instagram, Jay Recher, and what's your Hit Factory Tampa?
Yeah.
Follow Pop Cuesta on Facebook. Maybe he'll answer it, maybe he won't. We're gonna get somebody and put them in charge of Pop's Facebook so he doesn't have to deal with it. We'll get you like a Facebook secretary, Pop. How about that?
I think his wife would be the best. Sylvia will be the best at it. She's
All right.
been telling him what to do for 40 years. Who you kidding?
There you go. That's the lay of the land right there, man. God bless you, married men.
Listen,
God bless you, married men.
I tell you what, if you don't have a good wife, your life is terrible. I can tell you that.
Happy wife and a happy life, right?
That's for sure.
Or whatever they
That's
say.
That's right. Just made her the GM, and it's okay.
That's it. She was the boss.
She was the GM of the Jefferson.
Jay, let me
baseball
tell you
team.
this, brother. Let me tell you this. We'd be practicing, and she would walk on the field. Stop. Stop. Everything would stop, and he would go talk to Sylvia.
That's great.
That's the way it was. Hey, you gotta respect it.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to our top 5 out of our top 10 best shortstops in the major leagues. Paul, number 5. What do you got?
Alexi Ramirez.
Ramirez. I knew you'd slot him up high with the power.
Yeah, exactly. But to me, he's now. These next 5 for me are all interchangeable, except for number 1.
Except number 1.
Except number 1. So 2 through 5 is all interchangeable. I think Ramirez he's your poor man's Troy Tulowitzki.
Okay.
He's got pop, tremendous.
Very poor man.
You know, tremendous range, cannon, makes all the plays, hard ones and routine ones. I think people would know more about this guy if he played New York.
Yeah.
If he played New York, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Well,
I truly think that.
In Chicago too. I mean, if they have a big year, he's gonna be a big part of it.
No, he will.
He has
will.
to be a big part.
But
of
I
it.
think if he played in another market,
He'd be huge.
yeah, huge. He'd be a Hall of Famer. He'd really get the recognition.
Pop, what do you got? Number 5.
Hardy,
J.J. Hardy.
I like him because he's not real flashy, but he makes all the routine plays. And you want somebody that can make all the routine plays.
He is an unbelievable
And he
player.
hits bombs.
He drops bombs,
Yeah.
which Paul always likes. It's
Exactly.
like that's always the cherry on top for Paul. Hey, if he hits bombs, that's always just the added
Exactly right.
benefit.
He might let one in, but he's going to bring 3 in.
That's true. Number 5, I got Eric Ibar. I like the consistency, always in the top 10 of batting average. He's a great fielder, got a great arm. He's been doing it for a while, and he's been that guy on a good team for all these years, and he's scrappy, and he's not a guy you want to see up at bat if you're a good pitcher,
No.
because he hits good pitchers as well as he does bad pitchers. We call it the curse of the Alex Rodriguez, where you can only hit guys that are in the middle to the bottom part of the league. But Ibar, he's just consistent every year. We don't hear a lot about him because he's on the West Coast. But the guy's such a great fielder, is a great competitor. I don't think he gets the adulation that he deserves. So I'm giving him a little love, putting him in the 5 hole, I believe. All right, number 4. Who do you got? Number 4, Paul.
One of my former clients, Ian Desmond.
Number 4.
4.
Wow.
4.
If I thought he would be your number 1.
No.
That guy looks like your little brother.
Yeah. Listen, used to hit with me again. Plays for one of my best friends, the bench coach of the Nationals, Randy North.
I can't believe you have him at number 4. Man.
Number 4. I'm telling you, number 4. I think he could possibly be the best shortstop in the game, but defensively sometimes has some hiccups.
Man, who do you got in the top 3? That's going to be
Ooh,
interesting.
yeah.
All right, Pop, number 4.
I like Abar.
There you go. He likes Sabar too,
I
baby.
like him because he can do a lot of things. He can, put the bunts very well, puts pressure on the defense.
Yes,
There
he
you
does.
go.
Can steal a base. Occasionally he can turn on one and hit one out of the park for you.
Switch hitter.
Yeah.
Both sides of the plate.
Pop, a little tangent here. We talk a lot about analytics on here, and Moneyball. They talk about bunting is bad, and they're crunching these numbers. What is your thought? You've been around the game so long. Do you think that it's a proper thing to judge the way a player is, the analytics, the new sabermetrics, or do you think it's a little overblown?
I'm not sure exactly what you want me to say here.
Say what you think.
How do you? No, don't worry about being politically
Yeah.
correct. I just want to know, because Paul and I, what we think is that it's tough for people to grade and judge how good a ball player is when they're just doing it with these, with the numbers. They're not doing the eye test of. There's a different, like you said about Ronnie Martinez when he got on the mound. There's no stat that tells you after he gives up a home run that he's going to come out there and go right at him. So do you think nowadays people spend a little bit too much on these numbers and these little high definition?
Win above replacement and all that kind of crap, or you look at the ball player.
Over the years, coming up high school ranks, players, I had teams outstanding team, no numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But we were able to hit the ball the right side, get a man to third,
Yep.
squeeze a man home, bunt runners over, put the ball in play, get people moving. And the numbers weren't good, but the end result was W's.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what you play for.
And
That's the answer we were looking for.
And that's what Jay and I talk about, Pop,
Yeah.
all the time. One thing that we stress, even though I was a power hitter, is bunting. In perfect example, last night in Paulie's game, Jay, they're playing St. Pete. Second inning, boom, lefty pitcher, drags one down the first base line, base hit, RBI. Comes up, last at bat, the whole defense is different now. You got the third baseman playing in, the first baseman's over, and he gets a base hit and ends up being the game-winning RBI. But just that bunt, 3 innings or 2 at-bats before, it changes the dynamic. You know, I was telling my dad, the last out in the World Series a few years ago when the Braves were in the World Series was Otis Nixon trying to bunt.
Yep.
You know, I just think that with sabermetrics and Moneyball, when you say a bunt is bad, that's
Makes no sense
that's
to me.
idiocy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're moving the runner over. You know, you're learning how to stay inside the ball and the hit and run. All those kind of things. That's baseball.
You're putting pressure on the defense.
Exactly
and
right.
You're forcing
Exactly
the
right.
defense to adjust to more than just being able to swing the bat and
Yeah.
you know hitting a 3-run home run.
And you know what you learn about it is by bunting, you're sacrificing yourself for the betterment of the team.
Yeah, it's
you
a
know?
it's kind of a great life lesson, and it's definitely a microcosm of what you're doing playing baseball.
Exactly
Game of
right.
failure. You're putting the team above the
yourself.
individual player.
Exactly
And you're
right.
ready to say, hey, listen, I'll give up I'll make a productive out for the betterment of the team.
That's right.
You know, when I used to lead off, I used to, even in the first inning, I would just show bunt. Maybe not bunt.
Yeah.
You get the third baseman creeping in, and then how many times after you hit a high chopper or you hit something
there.
that goes over his head, or it eats him up because he's
That's
playing
right.
too shallow. So there's definitely a different dynamic of the game that I think gets lost because people are so worried about, oh, we shouldn't bunt, or we shouldn't, we got to follow the numbers.
Listen, I think if you're a bunter, you should try to bunt at least once a game.
Why not?
Every game. Every game.
It makes no sense for guys that
No.
have this speed to go up there trying to hit home runs.
That's
You're
right.
going against the tools that God gave you to be productive and be a talented ball player. Go up there and lay down a bunt, put the ball on the ground. Stop
That's
trying
right.
to be a hero.
You see so much bad baseball. You know, when you got a man on first and second, no outs. Well, hell, bunt him over.
Yeah, especially
You
if you
know?
got some speed. 'Cause
Yeah.
You get a sacrifice
over.
bunt down in the right angle, you get on base.
I don't
hit.
care if it's the four batter or not. Bunt him over. More than likely, the four batter's going to ground out to a double play anyway.
Yeah.
Bunt him over. You know,
That's
it's
true.
good baseball.
Now
It's
here's a
good
guy
baseball.
that I got in my number 4 hole that used to bunt.
Mhm.
Used to be a lot higher, I'm sure, on a lot of people's list, but I have to bring him down because he's not at the same levels as he used to. But Jose Reyes, you
Good
know,
choice.
I got him in the 4 hole. He used to bunt when he was with the Mets. He was real dynamic. I seen him growing up there. Switch hitter. He's got power, speed, got a great
Dynamic.
arm. Obviously not as good as he once was. Injuries definitely have taken a toll. Playing on the turf up there in Toronto is not conducive for a long career. But he's still doing well. Still second highest average in the league last year. But I like Jose Reyes. I
He's
think
one of my
a
guys. I
player.
love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
You're a big Jose Reyes.
I got him at number 3, brother.
Ah, that's it. Oh, way to segue. Good
Yeah,
segue. You're
got-
learning a lot about
yeah.
this radio stuff.
Got
bro.
him at number 3.
Number 3. You like him?
Yeah, and I think Jay, like you said, he's gotten a little older. I think he's stopped bunting as much and stealing bases because he's having leg problems.
Yep.
And he's trying to
Still
rely a little.
have 30 steals.
Yeah, still, I mean,
But
you
still,
know, not
I mean,
bad.
this guy used to
Right.
have 70,
78,
yeah.
right. So, I think he's a guy that, to me, is sneaky. He's a guy that can lay a bunt down 10 feet in front of you and hit one 420.
Yeah.
And both sides of the plate again, still a dynamic middle infielder. I would have loved to seen him and Roberto Alomar play together.
Yeah, that would
Probably would have been the best double play combination of all time.
such a great arm too
Yeah.
at shortstop.
Cannon.
Such a great arm. Who do you got at number 3, Pop?
Peralta.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot myself.
Don't
Both
do
of you
that.
guys have him up there.
Yeah, I
Well,
like
if you
him.
shoot yourself, Pop's the new host.
There you go.
You got Peralta. You like Peralta, huh,
I
Pop?
like what he does for the Cardinals. Got a little pop in his bat.
He should. He had some pop in his butt. I can tell you that. Bam.
Hey.
So, for me, he fits well with the Cardinals, with all the
Yeah, he
people
does.
around him. And he does an adequate job for him and provides some pop here and there, so kind of like
Yeah, not a bad choice at all, my friend. Not a bad choice. I got Elvis Andrus at 3. I think I just think he's one of the best players at shortstop. I love the way he handles the defense. He's definitely a quarterback on the field. The relationship with Beltre at 3rd. I mean, that's a lockdown left side of the infield.
That is true.
When he's on his game, Andrus, he's one of the best leadoff hitters because he sprays the ball everywhere. He's got a great inside-out swing. And he's the guy that bunts. I like that he knows his role.
Right.
People will say, well, he only hits 1, 2, 3 home runs a year. I'd rather have a guy that's not a home run hitter, not try to be a home run hitter, and just do what you do. Hit doubles, you know what I mean? 35 doubles. I mean,
Listen,
you know,
there's more to the game than hitting bombs.
exactly.
There's more to
Which
it.
is, it's crazy for you to say that. I'm going to make sure I make
But
a
you
mark
know,
on the tape real
Mark
quick.
it. Mark it.
Marked it. Okay, we're going to save that, and we're going to
Okay.
put that into our next show opening, that It's about more than just bombs.
Not
right?
much more, but.
Oh, okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure we were clear. All right, so yeah, that's why I had number 3. I like Ellis Andrews. I like him bouncing back. I think he's going to have a big year.
I don't hate you for it.
Yeah. Number 2, we're getting to the top 2. This is when it starts getting thick,
Yeah, now,
thick right here.
The only reason I put him there, and I'm just going to say this, is because I think when he's healthy, he's the best shortstop in the game, and that's Troy Tulowitzki. That's the only reason I have him there. When healthy, I should have put him at 10 and not 2, because just because of his health.
Yeah,
Just
you love
because of
that.
his
You
health.
love that injury thing.
Yeah, but that guy hits friggin' bombs. He's got range. I'm more of a smaller shortstop guy. I
Mhm.
like smaller
Yeah.
shortstops, not big ones. But the guy is he's dynamic, and if he could stay healthy, he's in my opinion the top 2 shortstops in the game.
Pop, number 2.
Ramirez.
Hanley.
You can't pick him, Pop. He doesn't play shortstop anymore.
He's listed here as a
Oh
shortstop.
yeah, but he's a left fielder.
I know, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not so convinced that as the year goes on. I was thinking, I didn't put him on my list, but
That's the only reason I didn't put him on my list.
the more I think about it, he's not starting the year at shortstop. But if Xander Bogaerts doesn't really do his thing in Boston,
If he
they
chokes?
have 6 or 7 outfielders already. So
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bogaerts struggles, they get him out of there, switch Ramirez back to shortstop, and let a Brock Holt or a Jackie Bradley or a Mookie Betts or some of these guys play outfield as well.
Okay, who's the other second baseman that came in? I thought that was Holt too.
Yeah,
Holt's a
Holt.
utility, in and
Yeah.
outfield, right?
Mhm.
How about this scenario?
Well, they got Pedroia though.
Okay, no, but I'm just saying.
Oh,
as
yeah, yeah,
utility.
yeah.
How about this scenario? You just move Ramirez to shortstop. Bogarts played third. He's
Yeah, but,
played second.
but you got Sandoval third.
No.
The
Make Bogarts the utility guy. Make him the utility guy off the bench. You got Hanley playing short. You can have Bogarts play it, periodically.
That's tough though because you got Ramirez. That's a guy that's at the tail end of his career.
Okay, so
who's
I
probably
think
gonna.
Bogarts still needs more time, bro.
Nah, well, you know what? He was on the team when they won the World Series 2 years ago.
What position?
He was all over the place. I think he played third.
Utility.
He played
Yeah,
third,
but he played third a lot.
I think. But he
Yeah.
played a lot at shortstop last year. I really think that it's their mindset. They want him to be the shortstop of the future.
Right.
So I don't know if they would make him a utility because then that'd be like, hey, you were a starter last year, now you're a utility.
Yeah, but then you got perennial all-star.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
Ramirez
But
breathing
still,
down your neck in
you know,
left field.
but you also have to be conscientious of development of your player.
Oh, no,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? So you don't want to stunt his growth at shortstop by putting a guy in there that, I mean, Hanley's not the greatest fielder, but I mean, he can
Right.
rake.
Rake.
So I like it though. I
And-
like
and
it.
I tell you
That's why we make these lists, man.
And you know what? I would agree with you, Jay. But the way the game is today, nobody cares. They bring guys in, get rid of guys
That's
like
true.
it's nothing.
Treat them like all.
Exactly,
Treat them
like
like
their meat.
Like dirty laundry.
Exactly
All right,
right.
my number 2 hole. I have your boy Ian Desmond.
Oh, very good. I'm proud of
I
you.
like him.
There you
I
go.
put him up high because I think he was a stud last year offensively. The biggest thing I didn't like about him is that he struck out 183 times last year.
That's because he's trying to get some liftage, brother.
No.
He's trying to get paid.
No other shortstop had more than 139 strikeouts.
But Jay, let's think about
But
that.
that's 50 more strikeouts than any
Okay,
of the
but
shortstops. That's
so
a
what?
lot.
So what? But let's think about
That's
this.
more strikeouts than 50 more strikeouts.
Let's
than
think
him.
about this. When in history have shortstops struck out 180 times?
Ah.
It's because, they used to say, chicks dig the long ball. And that guy's handsome. You see the new hair he's
Yeah,
got? He's
yeah.
got the new chin
Good
going,
dude, man.
the new flow. He's trying to go deep, brother.
Yeah, he's also,
He's trying to get paid.
I think I put him there because, Paul Russo.
Exactly.
Russo went for
It's
him.
just seeping into your brain,
Because
bro. It's
defensively,
seeping in.
he's not, great. He's towards the tail end of the fielders and,
Yeah, but he's the guy that I talk about.
yeah,
He lets in one, brings in two.
that's right. All right, well, I guess I talked myself into it
There
last
you
night.
go. I'm so proud of you.
Damn, I should have.
I'm so proud
Should
of
have
you.
switched Tim and Reyes.
Yeah.
All right, number 1, man. This is it. The number
This
1.
has gotta be
shortstop.
him, bro. Come on,
do you
Andrew
got?
Simmons, number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1, best shortstop in the game. This guy's walking out on me. Are you kidding me right now?
This guy.
This is on video, brother. This guy's the best shortstop in the game. Most exciting.
You've got to
I'm
be.
telling you. Number 1.
This guy can't hit his weight.
Who can't? I'm talking about shortstops. I'm not talking about third base.
You can't.
That guy's awesome.
Listen, you can't one week say.
Oh, I can say whatever I want.
You can't say how great.
It's my opinion.
So you say, oh, the power, this and that, and then you got this guy who can't hit his weight. 248.
So what? He's dynamic.
Sucks.
So, did you say he sucks?
240.
He's a human highlight reel.
He's a 240 hitter.
So what?
God, he's
I'll
so
take.
bad.
Listen, if my middle guys, if my shortstop and second baseman hit 240, play defense out of their mind, I'll take them every day.
I can't believe we actually have this on video.
Oh no, I hope so. I hope people see how you walked away from Anderson Simmons right there. I can't wait till we interview him, and I'm going to bring that video back.
Go ahead, bring it back. It'll be on YouTube. Hit the cut on YouTube. All right, Pop. Who do you got? Number one.
I like Reyes.
Jose Reyes.
And the reason being, I'm looking at a healthy Reyes. He bunts from both sides, steal bases, got a little pop in his back. Wide range of shortstop, he's got a good arm. When he's healthy, he can just about do everything.
That's true. 5'2" player.
And I've seen him at his best. Sometimes I've seen him when he wasn't. And I don't know if I'm pitching to him, he's such a pesky hitter. He just fights balls off. He, real selective, and he's just a tough out. So
I like it, man. Jose Reyes trains actually at the Frozen Ropes, my former employer up in New York.
Up in New York.
Up in Garden City, man.
You know that guy started out as an agent?
Who's that?
The guy that owns Frozen Ropes. Tommy, what's his name? The owner.
Tony Abatini.
Tony Abatini.
He was a lawyer in the city.
Yeah, he was an agent.
Yep.
And the place got famous when Oral Hershiser went there to train, and that's how it blew up.
Thank God for Frozen Ropes, man.
There you go.
That gave me my start of coaching in the Tampa Bay area, and the rest is history. My number one, I gotta go with my boy Troy Tulowitzki.
Oh, okay.
I can't. Same thing as last week. I couldn't factor in the Machado thing. I thought he was the second best third baseman. Troy Tulowitzki, to me, is one of the top 5 players in baseball when he's healthy. This guy rakes. Absolutely rakes. And if you look at, I know we're not big WAR stat fans, but if you look at some of his stats off of the WAR, of home runs and RBIs, he's so far and beyond every other shortstop as far as putting it together. Yeah, look at it.
Let's see.
There's only one year.
See, in this, he's not even in the top 20.
Well, that's because
last year.
It's because he was hurt.
Eligible. Yeah, it's because he was hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, but if you look at the first half stats, okay? Look at last year. He was batting like something like 400.
Oh, no, he was questioned, bro. There's no question.
But the thing I like about him is that he uses the whole field. He goes line to line with power. He hits the ball on the ground. He's got good speed. And this guy is a Gold Glover extraordinaire. He makes unbelievable. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Brandon Phillips making those big plays. That's what Tulowitzki does. He's probably the next best guy to making that jump throw to Jeter. I mean, the guy does the jump throw.
And hell, it's harder for him because he's 6'5".
Yeah, and he's probably got a better arm than Jeter too. So.
I would say so.
Yeah, and he makes the play up the middle. He makes the play on the run. Him and Arenado, the left side of the infield with the Rockies, just filthy with
that
the
guy.
gloves.
I think those are 2 guys that are going to be Hall of Famers eventually.
If they Tulowitzki,
I like that Arenado kid. I love that kid.
And I wanted to see Tulowitzki. It's funny, if he would have been healthy, I think the Yankees would have traded for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He was that guy. He wears number 2 because of Jeter.
Yeah.
He actually went to a game last year at Yankee Stadium as a fan.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
while he was hurt.
Yeah, while he was hurt. I thought that was awesome. And I think he's the right kind of guy. He's just got that flair. He's got the flow going.
The only reason he was not my number 1 is because of the injury.
Yeah,
I think to be the best, you got to be on the field.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But it speaks. That's how highly it speaks of the guy that.
That's true.
He's on the DL and he's still considered the best guy in the game. So I just love Andrew Simmons.
That's your boy.
Yeah,
he's got a great glove. I gave him that.
Yes, he does.
All right, that's our top 10 list. We appreciate you guys for tuning into that. If you got any questions about it, or you think Paul's nuts like I do, let us know on Facebook and Twitter. Let's talk about our last story here. We'll talk a little bit of Tampa Bay Rays baseball before we finish up here. Alex Cobb experienced some tendonitis in his right forearm, and it looks like he's going to miss his planned opening day start against the Orioles. This isn't very good for the Rays, man.
Well, the Rays went from having their number 5 starter to now it's going to be their number 1 starter.
Yeah.
He was a number 5 starter a couple years ago. Now he's going to be the number 1 starter, which is Archer. I think Alex Cobb, you know, Jay, I'm a conspiracy guy. We've said that before. He screwed himself. I remember at the beginning of spring training, somebody, and I believe it was Todd Callis interviewing him, that how he felt about being the number 1, and Cobb's response was, well, I don't think I'm a number 1 starting pitcher, not even on this team.
Really?
And, you know, subconsciously, you know, that does stuff to you.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden...
Well, I think he was talking about how everybody else is good, so they're all...
No, I understand that,
but I understand,
you know,
too, when they're looking for
when
a
you
leader-
get negative thoughts in there,
Yeah.
bad things happen to you.
Yeah.
Bad
I
things
also
happen.
am not a big fan of his pause and his
I hate
windup.
that.
He's got the thing where he lifts his leg and then he turns.
And his knee is pointing at the third base dugout.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't square up. So,
Pop, how much do you follow the Rays? Are you a big Rays fan?
I am. I watch them all the time.
Yeah. What did you think about Alex Cobb? What do you like about him?
Well, he's kind of come through the ranks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sure
He's
has.
proved himself to be a pretty good pitcher. But unfortunately, you know, I'm seeing more and more injuries
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah.
the major league level.
Yeah. Especially with him too.
And it's not only the Rays, but all kind of pitchers. You know, they get Harvey back, they lose the other guy.
Yeah, Wheeler. Yeah. Yeah.
He's gone. Jose.
Yeah, Fernandez.
1 year and he's gone. And I see that same trend in youth baseball.
Yeah.
I see kids, Tommy John surgery, and it just on and on because they just don't know when to stop.
Now, what do you attribute that to, Pop? All the injuries? Because you've been coaching for 43 years. When Paul was playing, I'm sure you didn't see the amount of youth injuries that you do now. What do you think that has to do
We
with?
gave the guy the ball, says, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the problem is, I think Dr. Andrews stated it,
Mm-hmm.
travel ball and too many showcases.
Yeah.
You know, travel balls can be good if you just have a season and stop and rest a while. I had a
Yeah.
pro scout come to one of our practices. He was looking at Andre Davis at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the same thing. They brought him on the field, sat down, and he told the kids, y'all play too much baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you can play, we're gonna find you.
Yeah.
And if you can't play, you can go to play 100 games, go to every showcase. It's not gonna help you, it may actually hurt you. And I've seen, in the last 10 years, 2 parents that have indicated, talking to other parents, that's my meal ticket on the mound.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
That's not my son anymore, it's a meal
It's
ticket.
sad, man.
And you see parents pushing their kids over and over, let's play, let's do this. You know, and Tino came to a banquet one time and he told the kids, all the names you see up on the board there, I didn't go to one showcase.
That's right.
I didn't play travel ball. I either played Legion, played Big League. When it was over, we stopped and we did other things. We played basketball at the park, we played football, corkball, and that was it. We rested.
That's right. That's right. And we've talked about that before, bro.
Yeah, we have.
And I told you, the most baseball I ever played in my life was my senior year of high school. Played Jefferson season, and then we played Legion ball that summer, where we played, what was it, 60 games that summer, Pop? It was nuts.
How many?
I think it was 60.
Wow.
We played a doubleheader all the time, right?
Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday,
Wow.
doubleheader. But bro, let me tell you this. I got so much better because it was the first time in my life I played that much baseball. Because I always played football, you know. But even though we played, that was one time in my life.
Yeah.
And I was already, you know, I was 220 pounds. I was almost a grown man already. You know, I was 18 years old. Let me tell you about travel ball. Travel ball is great in the sense of it gives kids opportunities to get better in playing. But like you know, you got to have pitchers, you know, and that's the bad part because you injure kids' arms. The bad thing about travel ball is it makes kids believe they should play. You know, when I was a kid, you didn't make all-stars, done, see you later.
Yep.
You know, and that was it. There was the weeding out process itself. I just think that with travel ball, and it's not so much the showcases because there's only really one showcase a month.
Yeah.
So it's really not that much. But the sense of having to go out and do it over and over and over again with your body not resting, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be successful.
I think aside from the physical aspect of it, and I saw this past weekend with our Hit Factory Black team, the kids take it for granted.
Oh, absolutely.
They take it for granted. They think that it's just like, all right, well, I can play, my dad's going to make the team, I'm going to pay the money.
Right.
You know, like you said, if you didn't make the team, you weren't playing growing up. You know what I mean? For us in New York, you know, once the summer ended, that was it. There was no baseball.
It's done.
It was hockey season, it was football season, it was basketball season. So when the weather started turning over and started getting nice out, then it was like, all right, now it's baseball season. So the absence really did make the heart grow fonder.
Sure.
In our game this past weekend, after the first game, and pleading to these kids, listen, you guys have to play this game the right way. You got to play like it's your last game, and
Right.
you know, give it all you got. And I said, you know what, this game, you guys fill out the lineup, you guys coach the bases, you guys pick who's pitching and go to positions, and I'll sit in the stands.
Right.
And Pop, I'll tell you, man, we were down 8-1 in the last inning. We played an older team, but still 8-1 the last inning. We got 5. We lost 8-6 with the bases loaded, but the kids learned. They realized, they said, man, coach, I didn't realize how much time and effort that it takes to put into this.
Right.
So when they had that ownership of it for them, you know, people looked at me like, what are you, nuts? And I'm like, no, this is a learning experience. It's a teaching tool to get them to not take things for
That's
granted. Because it's tough nowadays when you tell the kids, all right, hey man, life is hard, you got to work for everything you get. A lot of the kids, they look at you, man, I got a PlayStation, Xbox,
Right.
you know, Game Boy and all this stuff. How hard is life for me? You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely the physical part of it, their body needs time to recuperate.
Right.
You know, you gotta have time off. You gotta, you know, as well as, you know, time to miss it, but your body's not used to it. If you look objectively and go, I have my son in 100-degree heat performing labor for 8 hours
Right.
on a June Saturday, you would look at them and say, you're torturing and you're abusing your child.
Exactly.
And then you
right.
say, well, we're playing baseball. You go, oh,
Yeah. Or you make your kid catch 3 games in one day. Come on, that is child
that's
abuse.
huge.
That's
man.
child abuse.
That's huge, and you get, you know, guys like us where we interchange guys and we
Right.
don't play favorites. It's really the thing about travel ball is you get these certain dads that try
They're
to
nuts.
control their son's situation, and
Right.
they go, my son's got to start, my son's got to play short, and either they put
Thank
too much
God they
pressure-
don't play for us.
Yeah.
Well, they know they're not
Yeah,
going to
that's
play
right.
for us.
But they put so much pressure on their son that
Right.
it works in such a negative, you know, negative way. And then there's also mistreatment of other people's kids, like you said. You know, Paulie Iglesias, one of the catchers on our team, he
Right.
catches every other game or every third game, and he's telling me about games. He said, Coach, I play tournaments in 100-degree heat and catch 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
I don't get
Your
that.
coach is an idiot.
I would never.
Right.
How could you let your?
Yeah.
How could you do that to a kid? You
Right.
know. And of course, as a parent, you know, Steve's a tough guy. He's like,
Right.
you know, my son could do it. You know. You know. But at the end of the day, you got to be realistic. At the end of
Right.
the day, they're kids.
And ultimately, that kid's getting hurt.
Yeah.
He's getting
Little
hurt.
by little. It may not be an injury at the time, but you know, he's having knee problems at 14 years old.
No, it's crazy.
Those injuries are showing up at the high school level.
Yep.
All day long.
More and more and more.
All day long. You know, I can tell you this. Now, don't get me wrong. When I played, of course, there's parents that are crazy, unrealistic, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, when I was in high school, Jay, that stuff kind of got weeded out because, I mean, Pop, how many guys did we have on our roster? 20? 20 guys at the time? And you were generous because you used to keep guys and then change the dress list sometimes. So he was very generous. He was actually ahead of his time.
Because you used to have guys practice, so you had
Right.
more guys being able to practice,
Right.
but only
So
20.
so they can learn our system.
Right.
I mean, if a pitcher threw 7 innings, a complete game, he wasn't gonna pitch Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. So what's the sense?
I would dress somebody else.
Give another kid an opportunity to be, you know, feel like he's part of the team.
That's great.
You know, it's, you know, Jay, and I do it for a living, you do it, you know, travel ball is what I do for a living. But what I try to emphasize to these parents, the reason why the kids act that way on the field is one reason. Because they know if I kick them off, they can go to another team.
Exactly.
And my daddy can pay the money and I can play on a team because of the opportunity that's there. That's why kids' love isn't there. You missed it. When you left on Tuesday night, after we did our infield, outfield, and everything like that, you had to go to the station. We played an inter-squad game. I sat, and Pop was there, he saw me. I sat halfway to home plate, put the screen up, and I threw, sitting in a chair, and we played live game. Those kids had a friggin' blast.
Mhm.
And I go, guys, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
I said, you're competing against each other. I said, but you're having a good time. You're getting pissed at each other when you don't hit the cut.
Yeah.
You know, segue to the show, by the way. You know, you're not hitting the cut. You're not moving the runner over.
Yeah.
I go, now you understand what Coach Jay and I preach every day to you guys. That's what it's all about, is learning how to play baseball. And I told them, there's two kind of guys. Guys that play baseball, baseball players. That's it. There's a difference.
That's right, man. You got to do all the, like we say in the said in the show opening, you got to do all the little
The
things.
little things.
When you do all the little things to make your team successful and for you to do well, the game's a lot more fun.
No.
And that's the most important thing, man. You got to play the game to
It's
have
the
fun.
best game in the world.
Sure is, man. Well, Pop, thank you very much for joining us today. We had a very good time in and learned a lot.
Sorry to get you out of bed early.
Sorry to get you to bed
I
early.
had to actually miss a late movie because of that.
Well, Pop, they got this thing now called TiVo. You can tape it and see it
DVR.
later.
That's too much.
Netflix.
Or DVR, whatever.
We already talked about the
Yeah.
smartphone issues.
Yeah, you can watch it on your phone, actually.
No. I'm like Coach Reed. His grandson got him a phone. He used to have one of these flips.
The flip
Right.
phones.
My brother just got rid of his last month.
And he got one like, he had to push all kind of buttons, and he said, wait. Let's go back. I want my phone back. I want my flip phone. Now, Macalusa is the only one I know that has a flip.
Listen.
We're on Coach Mac all the time.
Coach Mac and my dad. My dad has this phone. It's got to be from 1990. It's a track phone.
A track phone.
And listen, track phone, but it's the only phone, and all it does is have numbers on it, Jay. That's it. No text, no nothing, just
Nothing.
numbers. But you can hear the best on it. It's
There
the
you
only
go.
phone you can put to your ear and you hear great, and it goes everywhere. When I went up to Iowa last year, my phone didn't work. My phone did not work. You pick up that stupid track phone, it was crystal clear, unbelievable.
Those smartphones ain't as good in the States.
Exactly. I think it costs like 25 cents, but you know, that's the only phone that he has. It's unbelievable.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us this week on Hit the Cut. Next week, Dave LaPointe.
Dave
Looks
LaPointe, the great Dave
Great
LaPointe, my
Dave LaPointe.
ex-teammate and true St. Louis Cardinal
There you go.
and New York Yankee.
There
Great
you
guy.
go, man.
Great
We'll
guy.
be doing our
Thanks for coming, Pop. I
top
appreciate
10
it.
outfielders.
Enjoyed
Thanks,
it.
thanks, Pop, for coming. And we'll see you guys next week on Hit the Cut.